Hi guys, welcome to highschoolmaths.co.uk. Today we're going to be looking a little bit at surds, specifically multiplying and dividing. So we're going to start off with a few examples of multiplying surds. Basic idea is that the multiplication is just the same as standard multiplication as long as both of the numbers are under square root signs. So if we look at some examples here, we've got root 5 times root 8. That would give us root 40. Now, when you deal with a surds question, you've always got to make sure that you fully simplify it. So root 40 can then be split up into its two components, root 4 times root 10, 4 being the square number. Square root of 4 is 2, so that gives us 2 root 10 as our final answer. Okay, so we can have a look at a similar kind of question. Now, this one's something that will come up a little bit later on when we touch on rationalising the denominator. We've got root 3 times root 3, and if you multiply two root terms that are exactly the same number underneath, what ends up happening is the square roots cancel each other out, because effectively you're squaring the terms. So root 3 times root 3, if we use what we did in the previous example, that would give us root 9, but the square root of 9 is just 3. So root 3 times root 3 is 3, and that works for any two root terms when you multiply them, any two surds when you multiply them, if the numbers are the same. So root 4 times root 4 is 4, root 5 times root 5 is 5, and so on. You could do a root 1 million times root 1 million, and that would be a million. So just something to watch out for. It will happen when you come across rationalised denominator, so it's quite an important little fact there. The last one, we've got something a little bit different, something to watch out for. So you can see here we've got one of the terms isn't a square root term, and that's quite important because we can't just combine all these numbers. We can't do 2 times 5 times 3 as 30, and that won't work. We can combine the two square root terms, but the whole number, the 2, we're just going to have to keep that separate. So our answer is going to be 2 times whatever these multiply, so 2 root 15. For our final answer there. Root 15 doesn't simplify. If it did, we would have to then go further through into that process of simplifying the root 15, but that is as far as that can go there. So that's your basics of multiplying surds. When we're looking at dividing, dividing can be a little bit more complicated. Again, as long as the two numbers are underneath the square root sign, then you're just applying the same standard rules for division. So root 20 divided by root 5, 20 divided by 5 is 4, so that gives you root 4. Again, check for simplifying. The square root of 4 we already know is 2, so that would be our final answer fully simplified. Same idea here. Root 54 and 3, those do divide into each other. Root 54 divided by 3 would be root 18. Now in this case, that actually simplifies as a surd. We've got the 9 as a square number, 9 times 2 gives us 18. And the square root of 9 is 3, so we end up with 3 root 2 as our final answer. Looking here at this one, we've got this time a smaller number on top, and it works exactly the same. They're both square root terms, so exactly the same as what you would normally do for fractions questions. If you had 20 divided by 30, you would simplify that to 2 over 3. Same idea here, we're just simplifying it to root 2 over root 3, and that's as far as that can go for now. Essentially what you're doing there is just making an equivalent fraction. You're dividing the top by root 10 and the bottom by root 10 to give you that answer. And the final one here, you'll notice that there's a whole number term here. We're just going to leave that alone for now, and we're going to focus on the square root terms. So we've got the 3 at the beginning. Now 6 and 72 are both in the 6 times table, so we can actually divide them. So that would be 3 root 1 over, and dividing this by 6 would give us 12, so 3 root 1 over 12. So on the top line, square root of 1 is just 1, so it's 3 times 1 is 3. And the square root of 12, well, that can be simplified again as a surd, and you would be expected to notice that. So we split that up into its two components. 4 is the square number times 3, or 3 or 12, and we simplify a little bit more. So we get 3 over 2 root 3 as our final answer. So that's just a variety of different examples to look out for when you're multiplying or dividing. There's lots of other variations. There's lots of more complex things we'll look at, as particularly with dividing surds and simplifying surds when it comes to rationalising the denominator. But we'll look at that in another tutorial. Hopefully you've found this useful. If you would like some additional worksheets or revision tutorials, please visit www.highschoolmaths.co.uk. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe. And thanks for watching.